The VolQuest 2-Minute Drill is brought to you by Craven Wings.
Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price. Craven Wings 2-Minute Drill on this Monday. You hear Coach Heupel talk. He talked about the pain still being there as the players entered the meeting room today. Said the energy got better. You hear Aaron Beasley talk. He says clearly they weren't as focused as they needed to be.
Yeah, and look, I mean, there should be a lot of pain because they have put themselves in a really interesting spot from a bowl standpoint, and they've given away an opportunity to get in the college football playoff. And, I mean, Josh Heupel said they had a good week of preparation, but I think it was pretty clear that defensively they weren't as locked in as they needed to be. Didn't handle things, didn't react to the ball well. Maybe they just thought South Carolina was going to kind of roll over because of what they did against Florida. But whatever case that it was, Tennessee had no answers defensively. We'll see if they can flush and move forward and get an edge back about them because they clearly played poorly.
Joe Milton will be the guy. Obviously, is probably more engaged in how they want to use him with lowering his head, running the ball than he was a year ago. Coach Heupel referenced that. They're going to have to lean on him, and Coach Heupel made it clear, we have to go win this game. Nothing else matters. Win this game, which means you're going to get the full Joe. There's not going to be, kind of protecting him because they don't have a whole lot behind him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those deals where you don't think about holding anything back. You got to go whatever it takes to win this game. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how Joe Milton handles himself early in the game. He's not been in a pressure situation since the Pitt game a year ago. I guess when he came in at Ole Miss late, that was a quote pressure situation, but that wasn't his game. They were trying to rally there, but this is a 0-0 game off the top. I mean, how is he emotionally? Does he calm his nerves? How does Alex Golesh calm his nerves? How do they help him get in a rhythm with play calling? How do they manage the game with Joe Milton? Joe Milton's grown up a lot, I think. I think he's more mature. I think he's more focused. Having Hendon Hooker as his roommate will help him get ready, I think, this week.
I do think that helps a lot.
You got to go out and play, and Joe Milton's got to go out and play well.
Jeremy Banks, Coach was asked about that. Really just continued to double down with he wasn't available. Didn't put anything to bed. And ultimately, continues to say that he hopes to have him for this one.
Yep, hopes to have him for this one was his quote when asked specifically about a locker room altercation. He did not get specific. He didn't put it to bed and say no, nothing happened or anything like that. He simply said he wasn't available this past week at South Carolina, and he left it at that. He's not going to get into anything more specific than that. I know fans want more details. The head coach is not going to offer those up. And so the question is, does Jeremy Banks do everything he needs to do this week to play on Saturday, which he didn't do a week ago, as you noted in the chat on Sunday.
Yeah.
All he needed to do to be available for this team. That's on Jeremy Banks this week. We'll see where he's at.
Yeah, everybody wants this smoking gun type conspiracy stuff. Again, for the 400th time, it was more than just one incident. He and Hendon Hooker got into some type of spat.
Verbal.
I don't believe that any punches were thrown. I will continue to reiterate that. But they did get into it in the locker room. And, at the end of the day, it was not just that. It was multiple other things. That's the thing that everybody's got to understand. This wasn't a decision that was made lightly to leave him home. And ultimately, that was on JB for, not handling the way he should handle it.
And we'll see how he handles it this week, and we'll see how this team handles this week. Do they flush and move on? Where's the leadership of this team? How does it emerge? Josh Heupel saying that this team has good leadership even without Hendon Hooker, but noted Hooker around on Monday, will be around this week. It is harder to lead when you're not going to play, so we'll see where that looks at. In terms of other injuries, we'll see what happens there. Brandon Turnage, I think, is probably unlikely to play at this point. At the corner position, I think Slaughter's going to be available. We'll see how Kamal Haddon, he did not play very well, didn't handle himself
Brew McCoy,
well.
Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there with a lot of question marks from an injury standpoint that we're not going to know a whole lot of details about until the end of the week and maybe not till Saturday. We'll see.
He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. Craven Wings 2-Minute Drill.
When you're craving wings, it's got to be Craven Wings. Online at cravenwings.com.